Hello, our Truth Warriors. Just me today. Just a quick update on what we're seeing. I thought that maybe we could start doing some news segments where people get an update on what's going on in the world, how we're connecting the dots, and how we are seeing things. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope this is going to be informative. I'd like you to be able to share this and get the message out there, because the more people that are aware, the more people that know what's going on, the better we can protect ourselves. Okay, so what I want to start off with here is Saudi Arabia, who exit the petrodollar, the agreement that was put in place. This actually happens on Sunday, so only 2 days away, Sunday the 9th of June. And it was signed on Sunday the 9th of June, 1974. And this agreement was put in place for the US and Saudi and the oil supplies that come out of the Middle East to be transacted only in dollars. And this is what has given rise to the US and its power and its ability to be the world reserve currency, because oil has been the driving force of many things around the world. Now, this agreement is to end this Sunday, and Saudi Arabia have not renewed the contract to further continue to supply oil and all the exchanges and payments for this oil to be in dollars. Basically, the petrodollar is no more, and this is really big news, considering this has been the power and the driving force behind the US for so long. What is a turning point with this is now that Saudi Arabia have now officially joined the BRICS nations. This, in my eyes, is the final coffin nail to the US dollar. And not only that, the BRICS nations, well, they have now joined the Bank of International Settlements. Now, this is the central bank of all central banks globally. And that, to me, is quite the concern. And I'll tell you why. Because what's going to happen here is the fact now that the BRICS and the Banking of International Settlements, don't forget, this is the central bank over all central banks globally. This is the powerhouse behind the monetary systems of the world. They now want the nations of the BRICS to join in the project of the China central bank digital currency systems. That digital currency model, and I've said this before, is the push towards a singular one world currency and digital enslavement. And, you know, this is envisioned by those that have clearly ushered in the New World Order. And if you don't believe me on the New World Order, you know, I want you to take a look at something in a minute. What I'm going to show you first is something to do with the Bank of International Settlements. This is what you're looking at here, is the Tower of Babel. I might be wrong with what I'm saying here, but the Tower of Babel, what was it? The Tower of Babel, plain and simple, was an act of rebellion against God. And this story matters because we see what happens when mankind tries to prevent acts of God. They tried by their own hands to create their own ark of salvation. Is this Tower of Babel very similar to this Tower of Babel? In my eyes, it looks very similar. And what they're saying in regards to an act of rebellion, it seems to be that the financial systems that we're talking about here are very, very pushy on bringing out this central bank digital currency. And that, to me, is the ultimate control weapon. Now, back to the New World Order. It's been staring you in the face forever, since the inception of the US dollar. And as you can see here, this is the symbol on the US dollar. Novus Ordo Seclorum written underneath. What do you think that means? That means the new world order, people. They've been telling you this is coming for a long time. And right now, we seem to be focusing this directly to what we are seeing. I've been warning about the collapses of the banks and also the rating agencies. Moody's has now put several US regional banks on a downgrade review. Now, this is over commercial real estate because there is so much empty commercial real estate happening that we are starting to see a collapse in real estate, which I think will certainly push into the housing market as people start losing their homes, can't afford what's going on, interest rates not being particularly favorable with that. Now, the ratings agencies are downgrading banks further. And we've also got what I see is the FDIC problem. Now, the FDIC actually have a problem banks list, and these banks will be part of the deliberate collapse and the consolidation, which means you will lose everything. What I would recommend is that people start to leave the banks they are in and secure their money. This is because it's all by design, and it's all by design. Let me just read this to you. A number of banks on the problem bank list, those with the Camel's composite ratings, increased from 52 banks at risk from 2023 to 63 within the first quarter of 2024. That's a big increase just for the first quarter of 2024. And I do see many other banks going under. And the fact that these banks are going to go under kind of concerns me, because I look back the fact that this is by design, and I look back to the Bail-in Act, the legislation that was put in place for all the global central banks back in 2013. What we're looking at here is the Bank of England talking about the executing of the bail-in, and this is an operation guide from the Bank of England. But you're going to find it in every single country that has a central bank system. I noticed in 2013 the enactment that came into Canada, but this is the same for England, Europe, every country within Europe, every country around the world that has a central bank system. So Canada, the US, Mexico, they are having this bail-in system put in place. So what we need to do is protect ourselves. Get your money out now and convert it into assets of value. This is to protect yourself. This is an early warning system, so please use this information wisely and do yourself some due diligence and research with this. Look into the overnight lending systems of the banks, because the banks are not as liquid as they appear to be. The banks have to be literally pumped full of money overnight by the central bank systems. So in the morning, they remain solvent and they are not bankrupt. And this is just something that's been going on for quite some time now. Check that out. Look into it. Look into what I'm saying as well and satisfy yourself. You know, if my information here is legitimate. What we're seeing as well right now is war. War is escalating. And for me, I think war has a purpose of distraction. They are all in on the plan because everybody that has a central bank also has control of the very governments within those countries. So this plan for war is it's just like a magician's sleight of hand. And that sleight of hand is to have your attention. And they want your attention drawn to the escalation of this. And, you know, the destruction of this as well. It's in order to keep the masses in absolute perpetual fear and begging for the solution. Meanwhile, the mainframe of your global enslavement will be taking place in the background. This is something that's been going on. You know, the economists are warning now of this banking crisis. And this is really where people should be focusing. Because with this happening in the background, As the very financial systems collapse, the already built-in digital central mechanisms will be offered up as the solutions to the problems. And once you see this for what it is, it starts to lose its power. But my concern is that this is far more dangerous than the war. If they collapse the financial systems, which I think the financial systems are already weaponized, that means that people around the world are going to starve to death. There's not going to be money for buying anything, and people are going to suffer a very slow and painful demise. This isn't what I want to see. I want to see people out there empowering themselves. It starts to happen at this time, but we still have time for you to do this because, you know, its power is limited. And at the time of its activation, you should already be empowered and prepared. What I want people to do is look at different asset classes. And the more people that get ready now for this, the greater the chance of smashing this tyrannical, oppressive regime for the benefit of humanity. It's going to become realization, people. And I'm sure all of you out there would take great pleasure in seeing these bastards on the run after suffering for centuries under their rule of evil. If you like this video today, I want you to get it out there. I want you to give it thumbs up. I want you to share this. Not an angry face on the screen. The angry face does absolutely nothing for the algorithms. So if this is on Facebook, don't put an angry face, please. But give it thumbs up. I want to see your comments. If you're catching this on YouTube, please like the video. Please share the video. Let's get it out there. If we can warn enough people now, we can empower humanity. That means that at the end of the day, we have total control of what's going on. We're prepared for the attacks that are coming. We know that we shouldn't be distracted by the war, and we should make sure that we have our money out of the very institutions that are going to fail. And if we do that, people, and we get our assets into something safe, tradable, solid, and tangible, we're going to see this through. And we will stand shoulder to shoulder, and I will be there with you to make sure that humanity comes out of this in a far better place than we have been for a long time. And us together, sharing the knowledge, sharing the information, sharing this post and getting it out there, together, we can make a difference in the future for you, for your children, for their grandchildren. And we will be recognized for what we do in this time right now, whether you believe it or not. I've already posted enough evidence up in this video to show you exactly what's going on. Go away, do your own research, and make sure you're aware of what's going on before you make the moves to protect yourself. As always, question everything and believe nothing. And I'll see you soon for another great podcast with the Atlantic Underground podcast. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, please take care. Please protect yourself. And we are with you. And in solidarity, we are together. Thank you very much and take care.